All right, Ryan, I am so proud and excited to announce you're the very first My Swing Evolution official online student. So this is great. I'm going to take a look at a couple of your swings, and I've got some really exciting news for you. So let's take a look at these two swings. So first of all, I'm happy that you were willing to share with me, these two swings. And they're very instructive in terms of what we're going to do to help you get better really, really quickly. And I can speak directly from experience because your swing bears a couple of the hallmarks that my swing did when I began my swing evolution. So I don't even think this is a tough fix at all, and it's something that I went through myself, and I reaped the benefits immediately. I started breaking 80 right away. I don't even know too much about your game, but I'm going to assume you probably block some shots to the right, especially the longer club that you have in your hands. And I bet you're probably still pretty good with your short irons and wedges. Which is a little kooky because it's a little seductive when you can hit those shots really well, but you start to struggle a little bit with the longer clubs. So let's look at this first swing down the line. When I was looking at it, the first thing that comes out to my mind is I realize you're very athletic. So this is a tremendously good place to begin with. You've got good balance. And I'm looking at this, it's like, wow, he's got a nice solid shoulder turn. Club steepens a little bit. And then I was looking at this impact position and I'm like, wow. So he's got a beautiful cleared hip position. He's a bit up on that right foot, a little more than I'd want with a 7-iron. But everything looks really good. There's a lot of good things happening here. And also I can see that from the top of the backswing, your head is dipping down like most athletic golfers do. You can see it lined up with the horizon line of the range at the end there. And this club is coming in nicely. This impact position looks really, really good, Ryan. Your hips are cleared and you've got plenty of right elbow bend that you can, throw down through the ball. And, everything looks really good here, and I was wondering what happens, and it looks like it's not a well-struck shot. And then I see that you have a pretty serious flip of the club head there. So I was wondering what was happening, and I had a sneaking suspicion, and I knew I'd need to go to your face-on view to see it. Okay, so here we are, and again, you've got a very athletic move, good shoulder turn. But this is where I start to see the trouble come into paradise, is that lean forward. So you're loaded nicely into your right side here, and as I see you move forward through your transition, your upper body is going to relocate itself about 4 inches forward. What this is going to do is it's going to cause you to release your lag a little bit early, and we're going to talk about your right arm's role in the golf swing in just a moment. And you can see here that you're catching the ball pretty far behind you. You actually want that ball to be more in front of you. So let's go back to this shot right here. I think this camera is just slightly ahead of you, which changes the look of where the ball is, but still I can see the ball is pretty far back in your stance. And this is something that I tend to do, is that ball creeps back in my stance when I'm not hitting it flush, because I want to, have more of a chance to kind of trap it. So first off, if I could, I would like to see that ball move a little bit farther forward in your stance to maybe about where the white part begins, where this next break is in this this alignment stick you have here. So that's one of the first things I would want to do, is move that ball forward. Now what that's going to do is that's going to help you to keep your head behind the ball a little bit better. Okay, so let's take a look at this. So if your feet can stay in the same place and your head stays in the same place, then what's going to move forward is this. Your center of gravity is going to go from about here to here. By moving all of it forward together, you see your spine angle is very straight here, then that disrupts your angular momentum to be able to come into the ball with kind of that sidearm underhand throwing motion. So you're catching the ball way behind you. The good news is, look at this beautiful release here. My goodness. The athleticism of your throw is just dynamite. That looks so Hogan-like, it's incredible. All you have to do is keep your head behind the ball, Ryan, and catch that ball farther forward in your stance, and you're going to be in great shape. So let's take a look at Mr. Hogan here for a second. I think this camera angle is very close to what your camera angle was. Because this ball is farther back in his stance than it would be normally. But if we notice, his head is still way behind the ball here. And you'll notice that his hands are more in line with that front thigh. You know, and we see this beautiful bow here in the back of Mr. Hogan's body. And that's due to the fact that his 2 feet are staying in the same spot and his head is staying behind the ball. So we create this bowed look in the body as he's thrusting through the ball. And, you know, this is something to certainly aspire to. I work towards it myself. But that being said, I think that we can see that this impact position is quite a bit different. It looks a little bit late. We want to feel like we're behind the ball, actually. Like you're super duper, quote, on top of the ball here. So if we can move this ball forward, we're going to be in a lot better shape. Now let's look at this down the line view here. I want to talk about your right elbow action. So the first prescription is we're going to move that ball forward and we're going to work on keeping your head behind the ball. It's going to feel a little uncomfortable at first, but you've got to learn to trust it and you'll be able to you're going to hit the ball harder and better in time. But it will take a little adjustment because I had to go through this as well. Now let's look at this action here with the right arm. Now you're very athletic and I feel that you're loading up that right arm. Imagine you're in an arm wrestling match. Now I can see that you're going to go down and get this ball. You're going to win this arm wrestling match by going over the top, Sylvester Stallone style. And that steepens this club. You can see the angle of the shaft is pointed inside the ball. And you're really going to use that right arm powerfully. And you can see that right here, all of your lag dissipates. And then you kind of sweep down through the impact zone. Now, one thing that will go along well with keeping the head behind the ball is as you get up to the top of the backswing, if you could initially feel like you're losing the arm wrestling match, that will shallow out the club. Now, one of the things that I talk about in my DVD, The Hogan Code, is the underarm, sidearm throw, the feeling of throwing a ball or skipping a stone. That also forces you to get that right elbow moving in front and the hands falling behind a little bit. That slots the club. So if you can get that feeling of maybe not firing the right arm too early, you're very aggressive through the transition with that right arm to go down and hit that ball. Now that's a good feeling to have if you start that feeling from about here, that you're going to hit it with your 3 right hands. But if you start the 3 right hands from the very top of the swing, like here, then you're going to steepen that club and it's going to get harder to hit the longer the club becomes. So, okay, so the first things we're going to do is we're going to move that ball forward 2 or 3 inches and we're going to work on keeping your head behind the ball. And then we're going to work on this transition move. We're going to want to try and keep that right arm from going over the top. Like you're throwing the ball straight down into the dirt. You want to throw that ball out towards your target. So that's the feeling I want to have with your right arm, is that you're going to throw the ball from underneath and beside you out in front of you. All right, Ryan. Well, these two tips are going to help you out an awful lot. So keep that head behind the ball and just smooth out this transition a little bit. Don't get ready to hit it right from the top. Let the club settle into the slot a little bit, and then from about here start to really turn on the gas. And if you have that ball farther forward and keep your head behind the ball, then you're going to find a new bottom of your swing, and then this beautiful release is going to take over, and you're just going to blast that thing like a laser right where you want it. So you're going to be great, Ryan. I can't thank you enough for participating in my online lesson series. Hit 'em long and hit 'em straight.